Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we return with round 12 of season 4 of the F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for my home Grand Prix at Silverstone. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, Formula 1 back at the Styrian Mountains and the Austrian Grand Prix, and generally Austria delivers quite a crazy afternoon, but some huge news as we join here in Silverstone. Lando Norris has left the team, seemingly out of nowhere. He just was not interested in re-signing a deal with the team. It was financially motivated. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough money to re-sign Lando. We had about $10 million in the bank. He wanted $15 million, and unfortunately, obviously in F123, you can't put the team in debt. So we have lost Lando Norris for the second half of the season, and he's decided to take a break. He's done a Mika Hakkinen. He's decided to take a sabbatical, ready for the second half of the campaign. So we had to go out searching, and we've ended up with Felipe Drugovich there. Yeah, the best driver I could actually afford to pay to bring into the team. They see 96 rated there. He's got 100 pace, 86 awareness, 98 race pace as well, but obviously only 61 experience. And of course, the only driver outside of the big six teams to have scored points this season. It does mean we've seen a little bit of a shuffle around the roster as well. And so obviously Drugovich has come to us. Lando Norris has taken some time away. Enzo Fittipaldi has actually moved over to McLaren there, so one Brazilian in for another, and it's actually Dennis Hauger who makes his debut then with Williams this weekend. So starting to see a lot more of the F2 drivers coming up through the roster there, but this is going to give us quite a big, a challenge in towards the second half of the year. Of course, Lando Norris a proven quantity, Felipe Drugovich very much not there, and with only a 35-point lead over Red Bull in the championship, we are really going to have to work hard here. A 14-point deficit to Max Verstappen as well as we head into this weekend. Let's see what we can do though, but now really it has almost instantly become a two-horse race. Well, jumping straight then into qualifying here for the British Grand Prix, and honestly this track has actually been historically one of my worst on F123. It remains one of the only circuits I'm yet to score a point at on this game. We just never have had the luck around this venue, so really hoping that can change this weekend. Of course, now we're actually in a very fierce championship battle with Max Verstappen. Of course, losing Lando Norris from F1 as well, it's been a big shame. Shocked that he didn't want to do his home Grand Prix, even if it wasn't with us. Even just amazed he couldn't get a deal with another team set up. But clearly Lando Norris valuing himself more than anyone thought was fair, and yeah, that's left him without a drive for now. Whether he'll return for Season 5, we will have to wait and see. But yeah, we obviously just want to make it at Q1 on this set of the mediums. Times are looking like low 24s are going to be fastest, so we can set, a 24 in Q1. That'll be rather good. Right, on our way through the final couple of corners, though, we still were able to go purple through Sector 2 as we come out of the final turn. It is going to be a 24-1. Puts us P2 there, not far behind Pierre Gasly. That was a lot better than I was expecting. Easily making our way out of Q1 then, and now jumping into Q2. We want to be trying to look for 1 minute 23s here on this set of the soft compound tyre. Really do feel like suddenly, based on that Q1 performance, we have got a good fighting chance here at Silverstone, at least on Saturday. You never quite know what the AI are going to be able to do come race day Sunday, or what bad luck I'm going to face as well, of course. Although saying that, does seem like our bad luck has actually gone away over the last couple of races. Obviously, Canada, we got quite a nicely timed safety car. And obviously last weekend at Austria, a red flag as well really did carry us on Sunday. Bit unlucky on Saturday still, I feel, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So let's just try and get a good opener then in Q2. If we nail this, we should be able to make it into Q3 on just a single run. It looks like Drugovich as well, actually very competitive there. He was a little bit down the order in Q1, only P11, but so far in Q2, I think he's running up in P2 at the moment. Hopefully we're about to relegate him down into P3. But yeah, I had no issues with Lando. I was looking to re-sign him for the second half of the season. But yeah, like I said, just was not interested. Simply did not have enough money to offer our fellow Brit there, and well, clearly felt it was better he take a break rather than continue racing and continue showing everyone just how capable he is behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car. And obviously with Hamilton gone as well, only George Russell of the original British trio now still in the sport as we round our way through the final couple of corners. That's felt pretty good, pretty hooked up for the most part. Beautiful traction out the final turn, 23.8 there. That takes us fastest. Well, heading into Q3 then, we're going to need a couple of sweat mode laps. Charles Leclerc once again showing just how good that Ferrari is over 1 lap, set at 23.7 at the end of Q2. So that's one of the times we've got to be aiming for here as we get into Q3. But often we've seen Ferrari actually go quicker in Q2 than they're able to in Q3. Sweat mode, though, needs to be engaged. We need to try and get both of these laps nailed just to see what the car is capable of. What a lap that has been to kickstart the Q3 session there. It's going to be a 23.2. Absolutely mega run. We didn't go lower than 6th gear from Luffield all the way around to the final chicane there. That one felt really good. Not convinced there's much more time in it, but could we get any closer to a 1 minute 22? Well, George Russell, our fellow Brit there, lining up on the front row alongside me. Only a couple of tenths away after the first run, so it is not all over dust yet. We get an invalidation on our out lap. Not going to worry too much about that. But can we find any more time then as we round the final corner? It's going to be full bravery. It's going to be full commitment, full send, everything like that. Let's just see if there's anything more we can do. I think we know the answer to that based on that sector 1. Nick the inside sausage curb, hoping we could get the rotation from it. Unfortunately not. Yeah, this lap's gone. Oh, how many times am I going to do this? A banging first run in Q3 and then completely fluff up the second one. But I mean, look from here. You're basically flat out till halfway through Maggotts and Beckett's. It's absolutely insane there. The fact old turn 1 completely pinned in a car this fast. 193 miles an hour apex speed. And then through here as well, completely pinned through the first one, completely pinned through the second one, down 2 gears through the third one there as you ride the throttle. Once again, there was definitely a couple more tenths in that, but I think we've got pole position anyway here at Silverstone. So as we make our way down in towards the final couple of turns, let's just see if we can get that gap down any more there. Let's just go full send. Oh, see, look at that. There was another couple of tenths as well. We could have had a 122, but it's pole position here at Silverstone. We will take it. There we are then. It's a 1-2 on the grid for the British drivers. Myself, quarter of a second clear of George Russell there. And Felipe Drugovich, hats off to him, up in P3 there, clear of Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Yuki Tsunoda having a bit of a nightmare down in P9, sandwiched between the Aston Martins. But we have got an incredible opportunity today. Can we finally win my home Grand Prix in F1 23?
Welcome everyone as you join us at a former Second World War aircraft base, now converted into one of the great motor racing tracks. Britain is one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship, and long may that continue. This is Silverstone, and this is the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Drugovich, Verstappen, Gasly, Leclerc, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Albon, Fittipaldi, Ocon, De Vries, Liam Lawson, Helga, Joe, Bottas, Doohan, Stroll, Sargent and Teo Pourchaire. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
Well, Mark says that, but we want to win here today. George Russell, of course, last year's winner here at Silverstone. I'm sure he wants to do the same as well. But, of course, as always, going for quite an aggressive strategy here at Silverstone. An incredibly fast-paced race here around my home venue. But on the softs, everyone around me on mediums. The last time that happened was Barcelona, and that race went pretty well. Right, let's do this thing, though. British Grand Prix time. Waiting on those 5 red lights. Mighty long hole, but it is lights out, and away we go. There is George Russell actually responded pretty well. So we head down in towards turn 1 there. The Merc, though, not quite able to pull alongside me as we head through the first corner. Drugovich has had a bit of a disaster. They're getting swallowed up by Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Looks like he's going to try and fight his way back around Charlie Boy there as here goes George Russell down the inside of me as we head through the loop. Can we try and get the power down around the outside there? The two Brits side by side still as we head out of the first couple of corners. Is Max Verstappen waiting in the wings. Here comes George Russell, though, 3 wide as we head down in towards the next corner there and do not want contact with the Mercedes there. Max Verstappen is going to get squeezed out there. There is contact between myself and Russell as Leclerc now moves himself up into P3. So drama off the start here of the British GP. Plenty of action going on as we try and make our way down through the old turn 1. Oh, just picking up a warning there. That's not a good omen for the rest of the afternoon as Leclerc thought about it in towards Maggots and Beckett's there, but can't quite make it happen. We've got to try and stay close to Georgie Boy and want to try and get a run on him as we head out onto the back straight. There's, yeah, Verstappen now all the way down to P5 then in this race as we're going to try and get a run on George without the help of the DRS. Down the inside we'll go there. A very aggressive move on lap 1 down at the end of the Hangar Straight, but that really shows my intent for this afternoon. We want to try and get back to the front of the field, and we want to get there ASAP as round in the final couple of corners there, a little bit ragged through those final turns. But it is George Russell that leads the way then at the end of lap 1. So our top 2 swapping positions there. Drugovich is all the way down to P5, but it looks like him and Verstappen have already lost the DRS on the top 3. But we might have to wait for that DRS on George Russell here as we make our way through the first couple of corners. Mercedes versus Mercedes power. We've got Charles Leclerc waiting in the wings. We know how quick those Ferraris can be down the straights. Let's just be patient and see what happens. But it's high speed and high stakes here at Silverstone early on as lap 3 now the DRS has been enabled. We're able to stay quite close to George Russell there as Verstappen and Drugovich are already dropping away at a rather rapid rate of knots. So 4 cars from 4 different teams inside the top 4 at the moment. Is can we get a run on Russell this time round? Not quite close enough there. But we'll see what we can do as Drugovich will complete a move on Max Verstappen. So love the fact our new teammate already prepared to rustle the feathers of number 1 in the championship. Drugovich knows his job. You know, obviously not going to be in the championship fight this year unless he won every race from now until the end. And Max and I both had a lot of bad luck. His new fast lap of the day will go. Oh, we look to the outside of Russell through turn 1 there, but not able to make it happen. But yeah, Drugovich knows, of course, he's basically going to have to be the rear gunner here, really just try and help the team to the Constructors' Championship. And any points he can take off Max is certainly very, very useful here, as Russell now is going to be slow off the loop. We're going to go down the inside as we head down the Wellington straight. Now, are we going to see Russell hook it up? No, thinks better of it. Decides to back out. Tries to switch me off the corner, but not able to find the move there either. So we are now, whoa, to the lead of the British Grand Prix. No, we're not. Immediately dropping the car on the exit. They're lucky to hang on to it with just a small correction on the brakes there. Locked up all 4 wheels temporarily. Was able to get back on the power, but that's not going to mean I give up on it for all too long. Russell, oh boy, really squeezed me there as we went in towards Maggots and Beckett's. Was not having that one, as he gave me a car's width and nothing more in that instant. But now we're going to be even quicker as we head down the back straight. They're banging off the red line. But as we go around the outside, down the end of the hangar straight, we tried to go up the inside lap 1. We're going to go around the outside on lap 4 there. Give our fellow Brit some room. But look at this. He's still not giving up on it. George and I, this is an absolutely insane battle early on here at Silverstone. But we are through and back to the lead then of the Grand Prix. It's allowed Drugovich and Verstappen to close in slightly. But yeah, this could just be a real game of cat and mouse early on today. Sorry? That's a warning. Okay, was not expecting that. Felt I put the wheels near the white line rather than over it, but apparently the game saw that differently. Now we've got no spare warnings for the rest of the afternoon. I think Russell and Leclerc now starting to go side by side. This gives us an opportunity to try and break free here as we're on to lap 7 of the race. Oh, still trying to take the old turn 1 flat there, but so worried about running slightly wide and picking up a penalty. Yeah, Russell and Leclerc continue to battle behind me. I could see us gain a little bit of time there. Clearly, Charlie Boy desperately wants to end Ferrari's run of bad luck in the sport. Of course, didn't win a single race last season. Still are yet, obviously, to win a race this season. It's all been Red Bull and Audi so far. Oh, that was close. That was scary. George Russell's going to get an opportunity down the inside. Are we going to be able to hook it up around the outside? They're running very, very deep into the entry. Are we going to see him go through? Not quite. We clip the inside curb there, and that's going to cost us the lead of the Grand Prix. Then Drugovich and Verstappen trying to swap places a little bit further back, and Verstappen now is suddenly up to P3 of the Grand Prix, very temporarily there, as Charles Leclerc will try and hang on around his outside through turn 1, but that was incredibly scary. That could have been game over for us on the Hamilton straight there. As we started lap 8, we're still inside the DRS range of George Russell, so that's okay, but yeah, now we've got to try and just break free from those cars behind. Use this as an opportunity, of course, as the field gets spread out just a little bit, but already the tyres, you know, we have worked this rubber hard early on today. Silverstone, obviously a very, very high-speed, abrasive circuit, so we just got to continue digging deep, but yeah, we're going to have to try and undercut the AI. Now we're going to be able to get a run on Georgie Boy once again, though, as we head down the hangar straight onto the limiter we go, and not close enough that time round to really go for anything. The gap to Charles Leclerc, though, up to 0.8 of a second momentarily, so George and I have got the potential to get out of that 1 second zone as long as we get a nice run. Whoa, out of the final corner, which again we don't achieve. They're really ragging this thing around. Team want to see in just a couple of laps time, so that's reassuring to hear as well. Can we move past George? Come on then, can we get a run on Russell? Down the back straight we go to the outside once again. Oh, a lot of understeer there on the entry. Make sure we don't run wide. And Russell is still there off the corner. He's playing me like a fiddle early on this afternoon, as he'll just outbrake me in towards the final couple of corners. Once again, Leclerc and Verstappen still waiting for an opportunity here, and Drugovich as well. Still hanging on in there. I would assume it's Oscar Piastri in the Aston Martin that's with this gaggle of cars as well. But this is brilliant racing here at Silverstone. We might have lost 2 of our Brits since last season, but the 2 remaining on the grid are absolutely putting on a show today. Russell wants to get his 2nd win back-to-back here in F123. We won our 1st win here at Silverstone. Are we going to be able to get a run down the Wellington straight? Oh no, big lock-up. Big lock up there. Gather it up, though. Luckily didn't panic too much and was able to cadence break the car in. But let that be another warning. Team on us to box then at the end of this lap. But before we do that, I want to be leading this Grand Prix there. It's going to be a bit of an How has Russell got the DRS there? Sorry? Don't quite know how that works, but apparently the game wants George Russell to actually be in second place there temporarily. We definitely were never alongside him or anything, so really not sure how that works, but yeah, we need to be at the front of the field when we dive in at the end of this lap. I'm looking on the mini-map. I think we'll come out ahead of the Williams here. That's often the gap we're looking for in this series when we're trying to undercut the AIs. There we go. That is the penalty then that I was so scared about here. Just ran on the white line once again, but can't let it slow us down for now. We've got to try and still get a run on Georgie boy as we'll get fully alongside him and fly past him down the hangar straight this time round. So much battles going on early on today. Is George? No, I need to pit! George! What was George Russell doing? We got a warning for a collision there. Can I get a new wing on the car? I hope it's putting a new wing on the car. Has that been an absolute disaster between myself and the Mercedes there? I think he's... Yeah, no, he's down to P8 then on P7 of this Grand Prix. But that has been absolute chaos as we went into the pit lane here at Silverstone. Was that our fault? Or do we blame George Russell for that one, for not backing out when it was quite clear? I mean, we were the car in front still. Luckily, the team are putting a new wing on the wagon, but try and get back out of the pit lane then. We're going to be a lot further down the order, and now we've really got to try and work this undercut, because now we've got to try and get back another 5 seconds there to the rest of the field. Has that just been a race-ruining disaster yet again here at Silverstone? How much bad luck can we get around one venue as both Brits come together and potentially have cost themselves both an opportunity at the win? But effectively now we need qualifying laps over these next few there. I was lucky not to pick up yet another warning. Fittipaldi into the pit lane then, so we're still going to be ahead of quite a few cars here. But yeah, we need to really push on there. As you can see, Verstappen and Leclerc still duking it out at the front of the field. They can go side by side, cost each other a bit of time. We might not be out of this just yet, but yeah, in the ideal world, I was going to get the undercut and try and build up that 3-second margin, but that's not happened. We are suddenly in a very tight situation. There we go, Drugovic into the pit lane. Looks like Verstappen got the jump on Leclerc as well as yellow flags out. Don't be a safety car at the moment. That would really hamper us this afternoon as poor Chair not getting a particularly good run there. It's one of the Alfa Romeos going slowly, so we won't be able to do anything. That Alfa Romeo really in the way as Zhou Guanyu will pull over. Teo Porcher almost runs into the back of him as Zhou Guanyu out of yet another Grand Prix. Porcher will swipe across my nose as well, so that could have been us on another ragged run into the pit lane again there. But where are we going to re-emerge relative to Verstappen? Not even setting a new fast lap of the day, and we've lost out massively from this. Of course, we lost the 5 seconds because of the pit stop, but we've come back out in, what, P9 there. About 4th in the train as around the outside of Leclerc will go through turn 2. We've got Drugovic there just in front. But this has been a nightmare because Verstappen now into the net lead of the Grand Prix was the one driver we didn't want to win this one. Here we go, Oscar Piastri then to the outside of Max Verstappen. Have suddenly Aston Martin got an opportunity to try and win this Grand Prix there. There we go, look at Oscar trying to get all the way around the outside of the Dutchman there through the final couple of corners. Drugovic still could win on debut in this series if he had a really good run at some point today. 24.6 new fast lap of the day, as surely we're going to be back out in a net P4. No, look at that. It's Gasly. Pierre Gasly out of nowhere to the lead of the Grand Prix. So we're going to get down the inside of my teammate at turn 2. It's all kicking off at the moment there. As can we go around the outside of my championship rival Max Verstappen? A little bit of contact as we head out of the loop there, but surely we can try and switch to the inside of the Dutchman there. And now back into P3 we'll go. We need to get to the front of the field here, as Verstappen not going to give up on it. We need to get back to the front and try and pull away a 3-second window. But I'm not convinced that's going to be very possible inside the final 10 laps here. We know the medium tyres will last well, but will we be able to break out the DRS of all the hard runners? The battery as early as we can. Can we now get a run on Piastri and Pierre Gasly as we head down this back straight onto the limiter we go. Mercedes power versus Mercedes power versus Mercedes power. And nothing we can do that time. Verstappen already 6 tenths back. Need Drugovich to try and continue hounding him in the second half of this race. But yeah, I have no idea how we've suddenly had some pace here at Silverstone this season. Must have finally taken the setup the right way. But can we go down the inside of Gasly at turn 1? Yes, we can. Not backing out of that one, Pierre. And suddenly we will move through into P2 then of the Grand Prix. We are leaving no prisoners at the moment. We are not here to have fun anymore. We are here to try and win this thing, as surely we can get a run on Oscar as we head out of the first couple of corners. Aston Martin really haven't looked that impressive this season so far, so Oscar doing a sterling job. You can't move like that in the braking zone, mate. You just can't do that. Not happy with Oscar Piastri there. We get the warning for it, but moved around at the last moment. I try and bail out of the braking slightly and rotate the car further to the inside there, and that left us with a very, very aggressive run, as Piastri now down to 4th place, and so Verstappen again is the one to pick up the spoils there. But how are we meant to break out of the DRS? What I need is Verstappen and Gasly to start duking it out here. 9 laps to go of the British Grand Prix. I have the absolute belief that we've got the raw pace to get away. But Gasly just getting carried along by the DRS, doing everything he needs to at the moment. This is so heartbreaking. I feel completely powerless to what is going on. Drugovich is already 2 seconds back though, so we might still be able to wrangle away a podium. Come on, Matt. That's another warning. As Gasly this time around going to try and look around the outside. Thinks better of it, and rather wisely as well though. What we just need is Gasly just have a little slip up there. Allow Verstappen to go side by side with him, and then hope they can lose the second. Because then I have no doubt if the AI start battling how they can trip each other over. Here goes Pierre Gasly around the outside. And we try and force him out. We will. But he's still going to be there. How is Gasly doing that? As we'll try and get around the outside. Whoa, contact between myself and the Mercedes driver as we try and put the power down out of the final corner. 6 tenths that gap opens up to 7 tenths. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We've got to go flat through turn 1. Easy flat as always. The AI often will lose a little bit of time there, and that might be the opportunity we need. Verstappen, well, Gasly's still inside the range for now, but Verstappen is a lot closer to Pierre than Pierre is to myself there. Come on, get the run out of the loop. 1.2 seconds. This is perfect. Are we going to see the Dutchman able to apply some pressure, or can we at least just keep Pierre out of the range? Come on, that might be the window that we need, the window of opportunity in towards these final 7 laps. It might have to be a few qualifying laps to the end of the afternoon, but now we're just staring at the clock, and you can see 1.5 seconds instantly has Pierre Gasly just given me an opportunity there by trying to go for that move down through the loop there. Don't get another warning. Verstappen down the inside in towards the old turn 1 there. That is beautiful. Not too worried about that. So a little bit scrappy through Maggots and Beckett's. That's going to cost us a little bit, but there we go. We're out of the DRS range. Now we've just got to try and race ourselves and hope that Gasly and Verstappen battle. Logan Sargent out of the race as well. Disappointing for him and AlphaTauri. Our second mechanical failure of the afternoon. Well, Gasly then has already dropped down to 3.5 seconds, so he might have a little bit of damage then lay on in the day. But the gap to Verstappen, we're getting it closer and closer to 2. And just like last weekend, we're racing against the penalty here. How many times are we going to end up in this scenario this season? But this is really tough. Come on, get that power down. Huge snaps of oversteer, and instantly that's 1/4 of a second more that we need to find. Yeah, Gasly is struggling. He's dropped now back behind Drugovich, and he's losing time to Russell as well. So Felipe might be on for a podium in his debut race for Audi, but the gap to Verstappen almost now up to 2 seconds. It really does ebb and flow around this venue a little bit, but we have still got a chance. 5 laps to go here. We have basically just got to do qualifying laps to the end. Come on, that gap's floating now at about 2 seconds to Verstappen. 3 laps to go. We are still trying to dig deep just to find anything more that we possibly can, but at the moment, it's looking very, very hit or miss. Come on, 2 more laps to go. The gap up to 2.2. We know there's an extra couple of tenths in the first couple of corners that we always gain over the Dutchman, but 6 tenths in 2 laps. This is very similar to Austria, but even more intense. Well, I don't often do this, but I'm going to have to not commentate the final lap of this Grand Prix. This is going to be so close between myself and Verstappen, and we just simply don't know how important these extra 7 points are going to be by the end of the season here. We need to continue sweating on this final lap just to see if we can get that gap up to where we need it.
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining.
A bit wide there, that's not going to help me. Come on, 2.5. I don't think we're going to do it. Just got to get on the throttle as early as we can off the corner, but it's down to 2.4. I think Verstappen's doing enough as we make our way down in towards the final few corners. Unlike last weekend, the Dutchman seems to have enough to hang on to me here. Maybe the tyres just starting to give up as well. There, Drogovic just could not quite apply some pressure to him right at the end like I was really hoping, but through the final couple of corners, it's going to be P2 here at Silverstone. That one really, really hurts.
Yes, yes, come on, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. That's a great drive. Thank you.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the British Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The owner-drivers team moved to the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the British Grand Prix. Max Verstappen there takes the dub, half a second clear of myself, with Felipe Drogovic rounding out our podium there. Russell, a good recovery drive to fourth ahead of Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz there, with Leclerc, Ocon, Fittipaldi and Albon rounding out our top 10. So yeah, it seems to be a Brazilian, and McLaren is the one that can score the extra points in this season there. Oscar Piastri, that explains why he was doing so well. He'd actually gone for a two-stop strategy, but the gap at the top of the table back up to 20 points then as we leave Silverstone here. When are we gonna just get the lead of the World Championship there? Drogovic, obviously still in P13. Intrigued to see, you know, he could still probably come fourth by the end of the year there, depending on how he gets on. Fittipaldi now opening up his account as well. Obviously leaves those other drivers behind him with 0 points on the board there. A 34-point lead, though, as we leave Silverstone. We seem to be in quite safe hands with Drogovic alongside me there. I reckon he's got what it takes to deliver some good points between now and the end of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very, very soon when Formula One returns ready for the French Grand Prix in Le Castellet. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters that you can see currently on your screens. If you want to join them from as little as £1 a month, it would be massively appreciated and you help support my work. You also get access to weekly updates from myself with everything going on behind the scenes with the channel. But yeah, a massive thank you to the names you see on your screen, and we'll be back very soon with a brand new video.